We get motivated by validation. We get motivated by material possessions, houses, cars, money, jewelry. Those things are all finite. They're all going to wither at some point. But there is an internal force that never runs out and is always available. And what is that source? God. Peace, YouTube family. Today's video is going to be about my new newsletter that came out Tuesday last week, which was titled Motivation is Useless and Unreliable. And this is going to be a full breakdown, so I ain't going to waste no more of y'all time. Let's get into it. Well, the title of the newsletter, some may say it's bold, to call motivation unreliable and useless. You feel me? Like, people talk about motivation all the time. There's people actually called motivational speakers, right? And I would say that motivation has value, but it's the type of motivation that determines if it has value or not. For example, let's start this off. If you're going to a gas station and that gas station says it's low on fuel, we have some, but it's low. But there's a gas station 5 miles down the road that has an abundance of fuel to the point where they may never run out for a while. You're going to want to go to the place that has an abundance of fuel, right? The source that's abundant instead of the source that's scarce. And motivation is that scarce source, right? Motivation is here today and it's gone tomorrow. There's a quote from a book I've recently completed called 3 Magic Words. It's from chapter 1, and chapter 1 is called The Lock. The quote says, "For faith is the great mover, the father of all creation." Faith is the great mover, the father of all creation. See, faith is not seated in the mind. Faith is seated in the heart. And the heart is what attracts things to you. So if you have faith that something is going to happen, it's going to happen, right? You can have faith and one day have low motivation, but still have faith, right? Low motivation, that's just a feeling that you have, right? But if you have faith, regardless if you feeling motivated that day or not, you're going to do what needs to be done because you have faith. If I do what needs to be done, I'm going to reach my destination. These are some of the main problems with motivation. Motivation is often used as an excuse to procrastinate and be inconsistent. Usually people will say, "Oh man, I'm not motivated, man. I can't do this. I can't do this work. I can't go work out. I can't go eat the right foods, man. I'm not motivated, bro. I'm just low energy." That's an excuse. That's an excuse. You're telling yourself that you can't do this, you can't do that. You're self-affirming that you can't do it. But we all know mind is much greater than matter. Mind is much greater than what we can see. So if we put it in our mind and we can do it, we can most definitely do it. I don't know if any of y'all ever had like a time where y'all was working out or y'all was running, right? And your body was getting tired, muscles getting weak, but you ain't hit your finish line yet, your mark, your destination. And you like, "Man, I could just stop right now. I'll get back at this tomorrow." But you tell your mind, "Nah, I'm going to complete this. I don't care how bad I'm hurt. I'm going to complete this journey and reach my destination." And you end up doing it like it was nothing. That's the power you have within you. Another problem is we allow motivation to dictate how much effort we put into something, right? We know that certain foods is bad for us, right? We know that most foods that's being sold to us is bad for us. They all processed, right? We don't grow them, we don't make them, but we consume them. But just because we know this, we don't have the motivation to go out and do the research to get a specific diet for us as individuals. right? Determined by our blood type, by our family history, by our race or ethnicity, right? We're not doing the research to actually come up with a plan so we can stop eating processed foods and create a better nutritious diet for ourselves. Why? Because we low on motivation. We don't got the motivation to sit down for 10 hours to put together a plan, right? So it dictates the effort we put into something, even though that we know deep down if we put in the effort, it will be of great benefit. But we don't do it because we lack motivation, right? A third problem, motivation is usually external. Everything external is merely an effect of the internal, which is the mind. So we're using motivation backwards. Oftentimes we get motivated by status, we get motivated by validation, we get motivated by material possessions, houses, cars, money, jewelry. Those things are all finite. They're all gonna wither at some point. Validation, everybody's not gonna validate you, right? So if one person that you really wanted to give you cahoots on what you did and they don't do it, you gon', man, fuck this shit. Excuse my language, right? It's finite, it withers. Material possessions, houses, cars, jewelry, these things don't stand the test of time, right? All of these external sources that I've named all run out at some point. But there is an internal force that never runs out and is always available. What is that source? God. I want y'all to think of it like this. Say we on a journey. Say, well, life is a journey. So we on this journey called life. And we have a car. God is the car and we are the driver. God is the force that allows us to get to where we want to go. Right? The car not gonna drive itself. We have to be like, nah, we want to go down there. We want to go up there. We want to go east. We want to go west. Right? God gonna take us there, even if it may not be the best path on our journey. God still gonna take us there and let us see for ourselves. It may be times you be like, all right, God, we finna go this way. Take me this way. All right. You get there, you realize, damn, this wasn't really what I expected it to be. Damn, nah, we gotta go this way, right? He allows you to make your mistakes and to be in a driver's seat of your life. Me personally, on my journey, I've never gone at least 1 month without having one day of low motivation. There's always gonna be those times where you just don't feel like getting up out of bed. It's always gonna be those times when, man, somebody say a couple words to you and you like, man, fuck this shit. It happens. It happens. But when you don't allow that to dictate your effort that you're gonna put forth, that's when you've won. That's when you overcame doubt, fear, worry, right? When something can happen and you can be low energy, low motivation, and you still do it anyway because you know it's good for you. That's the power of tapping into that internal source. That source that allows you to do anything that you put your mind to. And I want to point this out also. We're talking about motivation, but however, low motivation is not always a signal of poor mental health. That's one thing people always allude to. Oh, he's not motivated, he must be depressed. Oh, he's not motivated, he must be sick. He got low energy, maybe he need vitamin D. And all of these can be true. But most of the time, from what I've experienced, that's just the natural rhythm of life. Some days you motivated, some days you not. But that shouldn't be a determining factor of how your day should go. Just because you don't have a lot of motivation don't mean you should just not do what you set out to do today, right? You have an obligation to yourself. And when you begin to keep that obligation to yourself, like you said 6 months ago, hey, I'm finna work out 6 o'clock every morning. Once you keep that obligation to yourself, you start to build up a confidence and an even stronger faith in the power that resides within you. I'm not perfect. I'm in the same boat as some of the people that's watching this. I've made the mistake of allowing motivation to dictate my efforts in the past, which led to inconsistency. And any goal that you set that's worthwhile won't be achieved with inconsistency. And from my experience and from what I've learned, this is what I came to conclude. If you can just show up every day, even with low energy, energy will be created where there is none. Now, I know people say you can't create or destroy energy. So a better word would be transmuted, right? If you can just show up, that showcases to God that you have faith in your plans and you have faith in his power. So it's been days, man, I ain't feel like working out, but I drove myself to the gym anyway. And guess what happened when I got to the gym and I started doing my first workout? I got my energy. All right, we finna crush this workout. I'm here now. Ain't no point of I'm not finna go straight back home. I drove 20 minutes to get here. Now I'm finna finish my workout and I'm finna have a great workout. So I don't feel like this trip is wasted. So that's a key that I had come to find out. If you can just show up, it may not be pretty every day, but if you can just show up and make that tiny bit of progress just to get there, you've won most of the battle. Most people just don't show up. That's where they fail at. There's another quote in the book that I mentioned earlier, 3 Magic Words. It's from chapter 3, which was titled Mind. You must reach into the furthermost recesses of your mind, for the answer is there and only there, and never in the physical world around you. Just like how I spoke on earlier about everybody depending on external motivation, which runs low and is here today and gone tomorrow. But there's an internal motivation that we can all depend on inside of ourselves, but we don't have to look nowhere else. We don't gotta look at no car. We don't gotta listen to a motivational speaker. We don't have to admire a high level person. We can just go inside of ourselves and find all the answers we would need to find there, because that is where God resides. In scripture, it talks about the body being the temple of God. And this is not me saying that you shouldn't listen to outside information or you shouldn't take into account outside sources. You should. You definitely should. Because it may be something somebody else sees that you don't see. Everything you see outside has to be internalized at some point so you can get an understanding. Can't nobody give you no understanding. Only you can find understanding for yourself. That's why when you can say something to 2 people that say the same sentence and they both interpret it different, because everybody has to come to their own understanding. So you have to look within inside yourself regardless. So why not cut out the middleman and go there first instead of that being your last resort? Oh God, please help me. Nah, soon I hit a roadblock. God, guide me. Guide me. I'm reading books. I'm looking up at how I'm gonna get over this roadblock. I'm finna do my research. You have to look inside yourself and internalize things regardless. So you might as well do it first. You will save yourself a lot of suffering. There's another quote in the book, The Kabbalion. It's in chapter 4, which is titled The All. Nothing can rise higher than its source. Nothing is evolved unless it is involved. Nothing manifests in the effect unless it is in the cause. Just another way of wording this external, internal thing. Everything external is determined by the internal perception of it, right? Me and you could be living in the same house, but I could see this house as a blessing. You could see this house as jail, prison. It's all up to your internal perception of how you understand what's going on around you. So that's just confirming that the answers are never on the outside. The answers are always on the inside, because what's on the outside is reflected from what's on the inside. I was talking about this, well, it was a group discussion. We was talking about this last week at the mosque. And we were talking about a man and a woman's duty to each other in marriage. And after we got done reading the passage, I brought up something about everything being self-analysis. When your woman doing all this, she tripping, she talking loud, she doing all types of stuff that's disrupting your peace in your home, that's a light bulb to go off to do a self-analysis, right? Because there's probably something that you're not doing that you said you would do that is now affecting the external reality. She may be trying to overcompensate for you, or she may just feel like you just not doing your job, so she don't like you like she did before. And it could be the same for the woman, right? It's a balancing act. So when one person is acting out of character, you should look at yourself and see what part do you play in this. For everything is self-analysis. If I'm looking over my life, right, and I'm down, I'm like, man, I'm broke, I don't got no girl, right, my bills is overdue, I'm in debt, man, this a shitty, fucked up life. But that can be changed very quickly, almost in a moment's notice. It's a shift in perspective. Once I come to that realization, I have to look within myself. Damn, how did I get here? I ain't just come out the womb broke, life terrible, this, that, and the third. I ain't come out like that. So what caused this? Oh, okay. So if that's what caused it, then I could change the cause and it'll change the effect. If I was better with my money, if I was more disciplined as a man, right? If I put priority of my livelihood and my bills over things that I didn't need, they wouldn't be overdue. All right, I got to change some things around about myself. I've came up with a formula that could possibly shift your perspective so you don't get caught up in that motivation trap that most people are caught up in. First, challenge the belief that motivation is required to achieve something. When you truly examine it, you'll find that external motivation only takes you so far. When motivation fails, faith leads the way. This is your ceiling as far as your energy and your motivation. Okay, you rocking out, you going crazy, then boom, you plateau. Damn, I ain't really feeling it today, man. I ain't feeling it today. I think I'm finna slack off. No, I ain't finna do that. I gotta go. I know my destiny. If I keep going, I'm just gonna get closer and closer. So you end up breaking through that ceiling, right? When motivation stopped, faith is gonna lead the way. Strong desire and faith are all you need to manifest your desired reality. The solutions to your problems will meet you along the way. As long as you have a desire to get somewhere and you have faith that if you do these things, you gonna get there. If you consistently do these things, you're gonna get there. Then any problem that you're gonna have along the journey there will be a solution brought to you. Wherever you want to say it's going to come from God, it's going to come from the subconscious mind, it's going to come from the universe, whatever you want to say, there will be a solution along your journey if you have strong desire and faith. Nothing will be able to stop you from getting to where you want to go. Now I want to leave y'all with this. This is key. This is the most important part of the video. The days when you don't feel like getting up are the days that are most important in our development. Those days that we persevere are what will close the gap between where we want to be and where we are now. Practice this formula as often as possible. Faith is a muscle, and it must be exercised, man. That's it. We just gotta work. We gotta progress, and we gotta have faith. In order to have faith, we gotta be grateful for where we are. We have to be grateful that we have an internal source that we had this whole time. They got all the answers. They got all the strength. All the whatever we may need, it's there. And it ain't never went nowhere, and it's always been there. So let's actually utilize this power. Not only be grateful for it, but be grateful in action and actually utilize this power for progress, for productive action. So that's it for this video, man. I appreciate y'all, family, for taking the time out to digest this information and have this dialogue with me and listen to this breakdown. If y'all like videos like this, leave me a like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna leave the link to the weekly newsletter down below in the description. I'm wishing y'all nothing but peace, love, joy, prosperity, abundance, all of those great things. And I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Peace, family.